Hey, Lena, you were first. Yeah, you caught up on a couple of those. You've been gone for a couple of weeks. You caught up, and you said, I liked what you said. You said you had to really pay attention because I was like sneaking in a little. I'm talking to all of you, and I'm sneaking in little bits of the lesson, and you have to like, dang it. It should be much more condensed. I realize that. That's what my videos are for. You know, the uploads. This is about the interaction as much as it is the lesson. And if you were to break up the time, the 2 hours we typically spend together, I think you would find that an hour is learning and an hour is chatting, so or answering questions or whatever. I have a couple questions for y'all, and then I've got a box that came from Sweetwater yesterday, so I haven't opened it yet, and this is one of my questions. Hey, Dennis, good to see you. Mod, I got a mod. Hey, Bob. You like the chatting? Okay, well, I try to keep it entertaining. It's not very entertaining if I'm like this, staring at the chat, you know. And then this is going to be a problem because I'm asking you a question and I'm going to have to read the answers. But so I ordered something, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because that's kind of the fun of it, potentially. Is an unboxing / review good, or should I just do a / review? In other words, is the unboxing aspect of it, because the name of the product's going to be in the title of the video, is that kind of like wasted energy and time? It doesn't take me long to do that, but I'm afraid that sometimes the impression is that I'm not getting much of an impression when I do an unboxing and then I do a review. It's kind of more of a first impression review and not like, okay, I've used this on a couple things now. Hey, Josh, good to see you. Bruce, good to see you. Thank you. AJ, wow, everybody's here. Awesome. What are we doing? How many people do we have already? 50, 16. Well, we're getting there. I'm chatting a little bit because I always like to wait till we get a quorum. So, also, I had another question about. So another thing. Today we're gonna take one of the shapes, the C shape. So the first of the 5 shapes, and we're gonna learn a couple scales with it. We did this before, but we're doing a deeper dive this time around. Dashmere, God bless him, he's been watching the videos. And Lena, you saw that where he actually will write in where the lesson starts. Like, it give you a little click there. And I don't mind that at all. That's not an insult, okay? I know that I'm talking up front. Again, some of it's just because, like during COVID, I was lonely during the lockdowns. And part of it is just because I'm waiting for people to show up. So I really appreciate, hey, Udayan, good to see you. Always. John, good to see you, man. Really appreciate you a lot. And so I appreciate Dash doing that because I feel like that saves some people some time and some frustration, because I know it's a little frustrating waiting for. And I watch Rick Biatto's live stream sometimes, and he definitely does the same thing. He's just kind of like chilling and waiting until make his point. And sometimes I just zoom ahead 15 minutes, and that's where he starts talking about what he was going to talk about. So. And this is just our third lesson. They're going a lot slower now that I'm not doing set every day. So this is just our third lesson on the method, and I'll do a brief recap. Dennis, let's see. That's true, Dennis. I mean, maybe the unboxing's fun if I keep that whole aspect down to about a minute of the total video. a first impression kind of thing. And then what I usually do is I tune it up and then I kind of play around with it a little bit and then I talk about it. I may or may not even mention the specs, like the type of wood. I think it's the thing I'm getting. Well, I'm not even going to tell you. So it's a pretty funny thing though. It's like, dang it, what, Anyway, you'll. All right. Again, it won't be a big reveal because it'll be in the title of the video because I want to direct people that are looking for reviews of this particular item to come and see me. So I have to put it in I can't just say surprise unboxing. What is it? And that's, I don't know. That might be good for clickbait, but I hate that kind of stuff. So I hate the screen cap, the video screen caps where they're like a still of them doing this, and it's like big bold letters with lots of exclamation marks and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, not my vibe. Jack Lloyd's in the house, and Holly's here. Hi, Holly. We had a nice, cool week. I hope you did too. It's going to be in like 90 all week. Well, no, sorry, 100 this week in 97, something like that. But the days when you get when it gets hot in August and September, it's like hot for an hour, and then the sun starts setting and it gets cool. I mean, the nights here are just freaking amazing. We put a blanket in the backyard. We almost fell asleep a few nights ago. We're laying on this blanket just looking up at the sky. We almost slept all night that way. It was like we totally could have just laid out in front of the stars. But I couldn't remember if the sprinklers were going to come on. I couldn't remember which night I had them set for, so I thought, we better go inside. Tomatator, I don't know what that is. Let's see. What did AJ say? Tomatoes and guitar. Tomatoes and guitar. You guys, you growing tomatoes, eating lots of. Yeah, we had a lot of tomatoes for a minute. 99 in Austin today. Okay, well, I have some friends that moved to Austin. Kelly Jekyll, who I write songs with. We had a song in a Netflix movie. So, speaking of movies, I was working on a movie Saturday morning, all flamenco stuff. I have my flamenco guitar out, got my classical out. The composer's a piano player, not a guitar player, but he's really good at voicing things playable for guitar. I have other composers that will just write things that not. I say that, and then I'm going to contradict myself because he, like. Let's see. I can get to a screenshot. But you can see like that little phrase right there. Okay, that's C, E flat, F sharp, and G. A beautiful little, it's C, E flat, F sharp, and G, right? So, for those kind of situations, because in this movie, my guitar kind of represents the villain. So it's that kind of stuff. There were some that were 5 notes, and I had to retune, but that's not playable without a capo or without retuning. I was doing a lot of that stuff. Well, one of the things you can affect is on that page. You can see there that C sharp minor. That's 5 notes, right? Even groupings of 5, which sounds like it's. How do you do 5? Count 5 over 4. You basically, the whole idea is just to kind of go 1, 4, 5, and then just start again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So whatever the beat is. Well, there are no studies, there are no technique. The classical guitarists never really do anything with their pinky. Okay, flamenco players use the pinky all the time. But classical guitarists really don't. And the Giuliani studies, remember we did the Giuliani studies? Remember we're doing the C? What was it? What would be a good one? C. Remember we did that? We went back and forth between C and G7. The whole point of Giuliani studies is that the left hand doesn't have to think. It's just 2 chords. It's all about the right hand. So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating, me, right? If I have if I find something I want to work on or I need to work on, and, you know, instead of doing somebody else's study, I'll create my own. So there is no study for five finger right hand exercises. So I'm creating kind of the Strahle studies for 5 finger right hand playing. And there's a reason, I think, historically why the pinky hasn't really been incorporated into classical playing, because physiologically the tendons for these 2 fingers join up pretty early. So you'll notice that it's really hard to move the pinky without moving the third and vice versa, right? So having some kind of independence between those 2 fingers is very, very difficult. And at 60, I don't know that I'm going to be able to develop that technique. But I'm trying to, because I do think I could really use it. And if I could get it fast, that would be really dope. The pinky right now feels like it's kind of flailing. But I may post the studies when I get done with them if anybody's interested. Or I may sell them on Etsy or something. Oh, thank you. I'll post the Discord link, Dennis. I forgot. Oh, also, you know, I never did look at your. Did you, Holly? I'm assuming you did that PDF, right? Of last week's lesson. Never want to assume, but I forgot to check. So I'm going to check now. And if you didn't do it, shame on you. No, just kidding. Okay, so it would be under Tom's. Oh, there, yeah, it's there because I haven't. Sweet. Fretboard. Downloading the previous version. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's just going to downloading. Okay, for some reason it's just showing up in grayscale. Okay, let me pull up the other one. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So this one's color, just like, very nice. Yeah, and Holly, you get it. Actually, it's interesting because that little caged and then AGDC and the way you reorder the letters, that's just a great way. I mean, I wouldn't bother memorizing that. Caged is all you need to memorize because it's easy to reorder the letters without having to memorize those particular orders. But doing that, just creating this PDF probably helped you hammer it home, didn't it? Make it a little bit more clear. It's that kind of stuff. It's like, you know, if you read something, you retain 5%. You know, if you hear something, you retain 7%. It's like teaching is where you retain 80 or 60% or something. And so that's part of the reason why I'll teach something that I'm not real knowledgeable on, because in the process I will learn more. Yes, PIMA, that's exactly right. P-I-M-A, John. The pinky is C. I'm not sure what it stands for. The P is pulgar, which is Spanish for thumb. Index is indexo. Medio, and then annular, I think, is the ring finger in Espanol. And I don't know what the C stands for. I'll look up. But yeah, it's actually P-I-M-A-C. So that's what I will be doing, is creating studies for 5 fingers. You know, and I thought I could even do like, ooh, that's so hard. And I have to think so hard. But I would love to be able to get like speed up with that pinky. That would be dope. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, there's hundreds of years of guitar music and they haven't utilized that finger. So I should probably let history teach me something. Those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it to some degree. But however, that said, I remember back in the 80s or 90s, it must have been 90s, there was a Japanese classical guitarist who started doing arrangements of full orchestra pieces, like he did Dvorak's New World Symphony for guitar, solo guitar. And he would play bass lines with the thumb, he'd play harmonies with these 3 fingers, and he would do tremolo So he's playing back and forth simultaneously with the pinky. So he's doing this tremolo thing with the pinky and having, well, he's like, whatever. It's like, oh my God, I can't even. I don't even know. So if a human can do it, it can be done. Indio, thank you, Bruce. Annulo, see. Oh, the original, yeah, that is weird, Holly. So the original was in color, but it's downloading. But the second one, the one that you uploaded the second time, that one had the colors in it. So. And I'll have something else if you want to create another one for this week, okay? So let me get into the lesson. 20 minutes in. Dash is going to watch this and go, really, Tom? Okay. So, yeah, give me a like. No, pinky is hardly ever used even in traditional finger picking, not just classical. It's pretty much avoided. And again, I think it's because of the physiology of it. It makes it really hard to have independence with it. One thing you could probably do to try to develop some independence is to do Giuliani Arpeggios. See, notice when I, if you can see that, when I pluck the third finger, the pinky moves. So I'm trying to hold the pinky out like I'm drinking tea in London or something, right? See that? You can't control it. So that's where I can see where it's not been done in the past, and there may be a reason for that independence. I suppose I could surgically have them come in here and cut the tendon so that they have more independence from each other, but that would be that could go wrong really fast. But the part of the reason why I think that might make it difficult, and I'm setting myself up for failure here, but I'm fine with that, is because when you're doing Giuliani Arpeggios, particularly when you're playing quickly, your fingers are ready to go. They're in position. They're right there. You keep them right over the strings. And so if I were to have another finger there that was acting in reaction to another finger, like if the pinky was there, it might pick that string when I didn't want it to be picked. Because if I'm plucking this string, so that's why I thought about doing, patterns like this. And the other problem with the pinky is it's so much shorter than the other fingers. So I think the pinky was more commonly used about 300 or 400 years ago, because the technique for lute was to play like this. And when you play like this, your pinky is actually in play. But when you play in traditional classical form, your pinky is really it's not really available. Your fingers are resting on the strings, and you're here, and the pinky, you kind of have to tilt your wrist to get the pinky in play. So I'm not sure, this as I do my studies, I may change it. And I like plucking up here because I feel like the tone is nice. But if you want speed, you pluck further down towards the bridge for speed because you have more resistance from the strings. Alan, maybe I could totally do that. Hey, Chadwick, what's going on? So what is in this PDF that could help a beginner? Understanding the CAGED method. So basically what Holly did was she took all of these, no, that's the new one, that's today's. Here, she took all of these and put them in one PDF. So if you go to the Discord, oh shoot, I didn't, someone's probably yelling at me. Tom, pin the Discord. Here, okay, I'm going to pin the Discord. So if you go to the Discord, it's a free join. That's an invitation. If you go to the Discord, you can go there and you can see all the PDFs that I've uploaded for everything. And Holly created a PDF with the 5 of these in it for me. Thank you, Holly. And those are the 5 shapes, C, A, G, E, D. I started on C, so you can see how they all connect after C, and then we started on A, and we started on G, we started on E, we started on. So if you look up the fretboard, like as it goes up the fretboard, you spell out the word caged. But also, if you look at the first chord or the lowest chord in each one of these 5 diagrams, it spells out the word caged. Okay, so we did it. I did it in that order, so you could really kind of see how they all link together. And so what I'm going to do today is we're gonna do some. Here's a classic thing. So now I'm going to take those diagrams right there. I'm going to move those. I'm going to drop those into. Make sure. What's this one? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to drop those into Discord right now. Okay. So now they're in the Tom's lesson thing. So those 3. So Holly, if you want to put those together, I'm going to add another one in a second at the end of the lesson. But we're going to start with this. So you can see. So I'm going to just give you a recap of what the CAGED method is for any newbies, and it's always good to have it. I may say it a different way that helps you understand it, where you didn't understand it 2 weeks ago or last week, and I may say something totally different or approach it from a different angle. Like I said, we learn 5 or 6 different ways, and I try to teach things from 2 or 3 different angles just so it'll connect with most people. But basically, the CAGED method is a method that's been used for years and years and years to help you find lots of rhythmic ideas up and down the fretboard, and also to find lots of soloing ideas up and down the fretboard. I just watched that. I watched that interview. Fascinating. I'm a huge Pat Metheny fan, and so watching Rick Biatto, who I'm also a huge fan of, watching Rick interview Pat was really. It was a very informed interview, which I love. That like it was a fan interviewing a fan that knows music interviewing the artist, and the thing that Pat Metheny did that was kind of groundbreaking, or he found his thing. He talks about this probably in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the interview. It's almost 2 hours. Is that he created jazz using triads. And that's what we have here. We're talking about the 5 chords that you tend to learn when the first 3 or 4 lessons you take guitar. Most of these, and I could play all 5 of these chords with just 3 fingers, my first 3 fingers. Not even involve the pinky, the C. Now I can play with the pinky on this hand. Okay, so, then what I had you do, if you remember, I had you play the same chords with these 3 fingers. So eliminate the first finger. Now you got to play these shapes much more difficult. Counterintuitive, doesn't fit your hands, kind of a drag. You're yelling at me, and I get it, okay? But the reason we did that was because now we have a capo. And so now we could take this shape, this chord, and turn it into 12 chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I'm going to run out of fret space, but you get the idea. If I was on electric, I could go all the way to the 12th fret, and I'd have 12 different chords, okay? Same thing with the A shape. B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, so on and so forth. We did it with G. And again, I wasn't saying you have to learn these, although the A form is a very common chord shape. The E form is a very common chord shape. Even the C form, like I told you a couple weeks ago, I've seen a couple videos where John Lennon plays this form for E. Right? So he actually, if you watch him live, he'll sometimes grab this E form. And Alex seems to think it's probably because they did doo-wop in the 50s. And that's a good doo-wop chord. And I don't know if they did doo-wop necessarily, but they definitely did covers in the 50s. So, And then, the E is a very common bar form. The G, obviously, I'm not like playing this A flat. That's not, okay? But I'm not asking you necessarily to play these, but to visualize these. So if you can visualize this, and you'll, it's funny, I've got my cloud. I should play acoustic. I was just working on my arpeggios. But if I'm playing A flat, I got that. I can easily find that A flat major pentatonic scale or the A flat major diatonic scale. Or if I want a chord thing. If I want to try to find a nice rhythm idea. So that's the advantage to the CAGED method, okay? And then, like we were talking about a second ago, Holly made the sheet that had all 5 of these on there because these are all individual little things I created. But this way you could see the shapes go up and down the neck. And when I'm soloing, if I'm in the key of E, maybe I might visualize this shape, the C shape. It might slide up to this one. Now I'm in the A shape E chord, which Pat Metheny, that's a very Pat Metheny kind of thing to do. And now I'm like I said, I'm in the A shape, but then I might go from, and that would be the G form E shape. I mean the G shape E chord. Okay, so I can see all those shapes up and down the neck, no problem. So it helps me with soloing, but it also, like in this case, helps me with coming up with rhythm ideas too, because when I'm teaching, I'm always thinking about creating, right? Because that's what I do. I write music all day long. That's my job. So I'm always approaching it, but knowing these shapes will help you figure out somebody else's ideas, okay? So let's say you're in a band and you're doing you got 15 songs to learn. Well, you'll probably have a much faster time of figuring out what the guitar player's doing if you know these shapes up and down the neck, okay? Lena, the dots are also parts of the triad, but they're not those particular shapes. I really kept it to the 3 shapes. So if you see the red, he's a little more orange than red. If you see the red dots, those are just these C shapes. Then the A shape is the blue dots. The green dots are but then I filled in all the other dots. So you didn't just, and I debated whether I would even include those. So because I was afraid it was going to create, the black dots fill out. So in the first diagram there in the upper left hand corner, the notes that are represented there with all the colored dots and the black dots are C, E, and G. That's it. That's every C, E, and G from here to here. And so those are all triads. So yeah, so like if you look at the 9th fret where you have this E form, right? You can see the bar there too. If you add the 2 green notes and the black note, you can see the full E form. So it's a little bit confusing. I apologize for that. Yeah, exactly. So these are not scales. These are just triads on each of these. Okay. And it was just a ways that you could see how the shapes connected. And like I said, I could have not. And there was one moment of commonality, which is the D shape and the C shape. You can see where I had to take the purple and the red and overlap them. I was trying to do a half and half, and I couldn't figure out how to do that in Pages. So I just did that, and it works. But it's just just triad tones for each of those. So the first one would be C triad, A triad, G triad notes, E and D. So I just filled it in so that you could see how, there's the D with the F sharp down here in the opening. So, yeah, it's a little confusing. I know that. Sorry. Yeah, Jack, exactly. Jack says, in essence, it kind of shows you where the bar you could put the bar behind. Because, like, if you look at the, see, the interesting thing, the green one, which is the G shape, and this is part of seeing how it all fits together, the bar is made by the A shape. So those three notes that represent the A chord, or A shape, fill out. When you add those two together, you end up with this full bar chord. Same thing, almost with the G shape and then the E shape. You know, two of the G shape notes, when you add them to the three E shape notes, create 5/6 of this common bar chord, the E form bar chord. The only note missing is this one, so that's why there's a black note there. So if you look at the first one, bar 8, you can see with the green are right here. There's the green, and here's and you end up with this. So yeah, it helps you kind of see the bars, the D form. You can see them like that. So anyway, yeah, we've been. This is lesson 2. What is this, 221? Since last March. And yesterday I was picking up Alex at the airport. That's where I was. Sorry, he was coming back from playing in Vegas, and he needed a ride, so I picked him up. But his flight came in right at 9, so there's just no way I could do the. He said, "Well, just do it live. We can do it in the car." I said, "Oh, that's true. You all probably like that." I got to move my window a little bit. It'll let me. There we go. There we go. Okay. So yeah, and so seeing these shapes, I mean, so one of the things I want to talk about is today we're going to do 2 scales that fit over the C form. Okay. We're going to learn some scales, but we're also going to do some licks that kind of, some of my favorite licks in the different shapes. And then also we're going to do licks that run through them. Like I played this one. I love that lick. I've used that for years. And basically I'm using the D to the E to the G. You can go right to that. And that's just, it's a fun way to kind of trace down the shapes and just kind of use the shapes to your advantage. And that's what we're going to talk about down the road. Okay? Okay, so today's lesson that we're getting to at 9:37 my time. 37 minutes in. Man, this is filthy. I got to clean this up. I thought my guitar tech did that, but okay. So I took the C shape. Oh, you know what? Let me go back to the first lesson. Just to kind of remind you here, and if you're new, one of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to. That's what this is. I wrote here. Okay, it says E, F, and B, C are half steps. I'm trying to help you learn the notes on the fretboard, because that'll be huge, especially if you learn the bottom 2 strings. If you learn the bottom 2 strings, you've learned half the strings, because the bottom string and the top are the same. So if you learn the bottom E string, you learn the top E string, and if you learn the A string, now you're 2/3 of or 1/2 of the strings. So, but the first 4 shapes here, the basses, the roots are on the bottom string. Okay, the bottom 2 strings. So the C form and the A form both have their roots on the 5th string. The G form and the E form both have their roots on the bottom string. So if you know the bottom string, then you can take. If you know that this is C, then you know this is a C chord, and you know this is a C chord. Okay. If you know this is A flat, you know this is A flat, and this is A flat. If you know this is E, then you. Okay. And then but today we're going to work on the C chord. So I want to just do a little bit of practice on learning. You can see I wrote out you can see the C shape there, right? And I did it in the red. But here it is right here. Again, the kind of a John Lennon thing. You don't have to be able to play this chord, okay? If I'm going to go to this chord, I might only do the bottom 3 notes. I might visualize it for a lick. Something like that. Or the top. Okay, I might use that part of it. It looks like a D chord, but really it's the bottom of the C chord here. I might use that though for some rhythm ideas for a song or whatever. Okay. But there's the shape. See if you can play that. And the root is down here. So whatever note this is, that's what chord this is. So if this is D, this is a D chord. If this is E flat, okay. So the notes on the A string, obviously A, then B, not really going to come into play. C, okay, here's where we are, the C form, okay. Then from C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step. It's one of our half steps. And then F to G is a whole step, and G to A is a whole step. I mean, you can keep going if you wanted to. Not a bad idea. Okay, and you can play a C major scale laterally, and you can be thinking C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right. But then, if you know that if you flat a note, you say E flat, you go to E and you go down a fret. You go that way. That's flat. This is sharp. Okay. So if you want F sharp, you go to F and you go up a fret, and there's an F sharp chord. And here's you can see I wrote 2 scales here: major pentatonic and major diatonic. Both you could say, oh well, there's also a minor, and we're going to talk about that. Okay. But what I want you to try to do is this, because here's what I'm doing is I'm showing you one placement, but it can be put in 12 different places. So I'm really showing you here, I'm showing you 12 chords, 12 major pentatonic scales, and 12 major diatonic scales because they can be moved. That's the beauty of guitar versus piano. You don't have to learn each individual scale that way. You can just move it. And you only have to learn one scale and you can move it all over the place. A lot of people do that, especially with the pentatonic. But what I did was I wrote out the scales where I kept this triad shape in there so you could see it. Okay. I wrestled with just maybe using just those 3 notes, the C 3 notes, but I really wanted you to see the movable shape. Okay. Not expecting you to be able to play this. This is not as common as the E form or the A form. But if you can get this down, it's not a bad thing. And I'm putting my finger up here. I think I'm doing that just to deaden the bottom string. Okay? You can just bar the top 3 strings. If that makes it easier. And you can start out by just doing this and then adding this. That's it. Okay, John, pull that tooth. I told you about the time I didn't get Novocaine for a filling. Okay, so we're going to work on these scales. We're going to kind of play through them, but if you can get that first thing down, okay. And I could have done minor pentatonic at the same time. So you can play a minor pentatonic over a major chord. You really wouldn't play a minor diatonic scale over a major chord. I know that sounds kind of contradictory. It should sound contradictory to play a minor pentatonic over a minor scale, but that's what or over a minor chord, but that's what the blues is. So here, if I play the scale I've written here, let's start bottom string, 2nd fret, 1st finger, okay? F sharp, and then we have A right here, 5th fret with the pinky. Same thing on the next string, B and D. I'm going to say the letter names because I'm wanting you to start to learn some of these, okay? See if you can get that down, Lena. You don't need to worry about, or oh, AJ, you don't need to worry about playing this necessarily. And again, it gets a little easier the further up the neck you go. But that definitely requires some dexterity. But for the scales, we don't necessarily need to play that. We need to visualize it. That's, like I said, that's more important than being able to play it. Okay, at this point. Okay, so first finger, pinky on the 2nd and 5th, 2nd, 5th. And again, this is movable. But right now, so there's the root. We ended up on D. Then we have E, F sharp. So, 2nd fret, 4th fret. Again, 2nd fret, 4th fret. Oh, dang. That's crazy, Catherine. And then that dentist was a masochist or a sadist, which is, I forget which is which. A sadist. So here we have, okay, now I have to put this as not safe for children, right? So, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret, then pinky. So there's our D again. Pinky, and then 1, 4. So 2nd fret, 5th fret. I'll do it again from just saying the frets. 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3, 5, and 2, 5. Backwards, 5, 2, and then 5, 3. Hey, Jan. Then 4, 2, 4, 2. So a nice little section there. You can finish it off with the root. There's the root. The nice thing about that, doesn't use the pinky. And then if we continue down, we go 5, 2, 5, 2. And here's the root there, okay? And that major pentatonic is a great scale to play over a D chord, or in the key of D. Now, there I added the flat third to give it a little bit more of a blues sound. Now, here's an interesting thing. When I didn't write this one out. We may learn this later, but you can play over a major chord. You can play a D minor pentatonic. That's the D major pentatonic. But D minor pentatonic, that would have a very bluesy sound. Would have a very bluesy sound over it. Now, I wouldn't play a D minor because a D minor adds an E and a B flat, and over the D major chord, it's just not going to work. Maybe I might play over D major. I might play a Dorian thing, but really, if I'm going to play the blues, I'm going to really kind of limit the rubs, the places where you're playing the wrong note, but it works because history. Because our ears are used to hearing that flat third over that D major, and that's true of all the keys. But not every note's going to work equally well. So, all right. Then the major diatonic. Now, if we start on the pinky here, let's start on the pinky. So we're on the pinky at the 5th fret on the 5th string. Okay, 4th finger, 5th fret, 5th string. A lot of numbers here. And then we go to the 2nd fret with the 1st finger. There's our E. The scale is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Very familiar sound, major diatonic scale. Okay, and then so there. And then we're going to go third finger on the 4th fret, that's F sharp. Pinky on the 5th fret, that's D. I mean, I'm sorry, that's G. That's the 4th. Okay, we're going to continue on. We'll play 2 notes on the next string. 2nd fret, which is A. 4th fret with the 3rd finger, which is B. And then 2nd string, we're going to go to the 2nd fret, play with our 1st finger, that's C sharp, and there's our root finally. Okay, so if we start here, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret is the D. That's another D. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Now I wrote all the notes in this position that are in that key, but we just have one section that's root to root. But I can continue on and below. But I'm not going down to a D unless I do that. And I'm not getting unless I do that. So yeah, it's the D to D is here. There will be other scales we learn in different chord shapes. Like when we play the G form, we will have 2 octaves of G, or 2 octaves of that major scale. Yeah, this is a good. But let's do it again slowly. I'll try to go slow. I apologize. This is difficult. I have no idea if you're keeping up or you're waiting for me. it's like probably a little bit of both. Again, so pinky on the D right here. So we're playing this scale right here. Ooh, look, first try. We're playing that scale right there. And I'm starting on that red note that has the R on it. Okay, R. It's a pirate. Pirate was teaching guitar. R. All right. Here we go. Pinky on the 5th string, 5th fret, and then 1st finger on the E, which is 2nd fret on the next string. 3rd finger on the F sharp. Then pinky on the G. Then 1st finger on the A, next string down, 2nd fret. And then 3rd finger on the 4th fret, which is B. And we have C sharp here, 2nd fret, 2nd string with our 1st finger. And then 2nd finger, like that. All right? Then backwards, 2nd finger on D, then to 1st finger. So that's nice. No pinky involved yet. 3rd finger on the 4th fret, and 2nd. Do that much, do that little snippet. Meow, 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 meow. That's the Meow Mix song, okay? You're just going a descending major scale. There you go. Use that ear. Okay, so, I'll probably get copyright infringement now, right? The video will get taken down. Dang it, all for Meow Mix. I wonder who wrote that. Probably Barry Manilow. He wrote a lot of... You Deserve a Break Today was Barry Manilow. He wrote a lot of great jingles. He wrote, Like a Good Neighbor, Stay by My Side. Can you believe that? What is his royalty statement every year? That's just got to be... I mean, because he had hits, but before he wrote hits, he was a jingle writer. It's like kind of like the quintessential jingle writer. And then Pinky, he does in his show, he does a medley of all the ones he wrote, which is pretty cool. It's amazing. Did he do the Oscar Mayer Wiener too? I forget. It's like pretty impressive. He had a knack for it, and the fact that they're still used. Well, do they still use that McDonald's one? I don't know. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate all the data there. Hey, where are we for people engaged at all? Am I totally losing? Oh, no, we're doing all right. Actually, we're peeking out right now. Hey! Sorry. Okay, so descending 2nd finger on the 3rd fret. 1st finger on the 2nd fret. Then 3rd finger on the 4th fret. 1st finger on the 2nd fret. Then we get the pinky here on the 4th, which is a G. On the 4th of the scale, 5th fret. Sorry. there's so many so much math in music. And then 4th fret, this is the 3rd of the chord. This is the F sharp with the 3rd finger. 1st finger on the 2nd fret, and then here's the root. And let's continue this down. So we're on the root. So we want to do meow, meow, meow on starting from this note. We just go here, then 3rd finger on C sharp, 1st finger on on B. This is a B note, 2nd fret, and then there's A. That's the 5th of the key. So God bless you, Lena. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's 5th, and then we can continue down. We can hit this F sharp. The G and the F sharp with our 2nd and 1st finger. Now, I wouldn't hit the open even though that note is in the scale. The whole idea of this is, hey, guess what? Let's move it up a fret. All right. Now we have an E flat scale. It might actually be this much easier because the frets are this much smaller. Okay, so let's try that. You're Finky. Actually, I had a friend in high school. His name was Hugh Fink, and he went on to be a comedian, which totally, he handed out cards. Yes, that's my real name, Hugh Fink. All right, so I know there's other people in my high school. My high school class president was Ron Klain, who's Biden's chief of staff. And Ron and I are friends. We're Facebook friends. We've been friends since junior high. Okay, let's see. So we got E flat, pinky. Okay, so I'm at the 6th fret. Pinky, okay. Then here, 1st finger on the 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the 5th fret, and then pinky on the 6th fret, 1st finger on the 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the 5th fret, 1st finger on the 3rd fret, and 2nd finger on the 4th fret, and there's our octave. I mean, if you can do this in D, okay, then if you close your eyes, it wouldn't feel any different. If you look at it, you might go, where am I? Shoot. You might freak out. But it's almost one of those, it's probably why guitar players close their eyes so often when they play. So I can take this, and that might be a really good little exercise. If you do that exercise, okay, now this is perfect for kids. I would say to yourself, this is E major scale, F major scale, F sharp major scale, and I would also practice picking out scales. So check this out. So I'm going to play an A major scale. I'm going to play D major scale. I'm going to play F major scale. Okay. This way you can kind of practice learning the notes on the A string, and practice playing the scale. Okay. And if you want to do all of the notes involved, then you would do all of the notes here. Right now I'm just playing between the R's, R to R, R, R. Okay, and there's an advantage. There's a reason for the illustration. A chord comes up, you got. I can easily find that scale until I hit that bad note, but I can easily find that A scale, or if the chord goes to C. Well, C wouldn't be a good one. Let's see, A goes to G. Now, if the song's in D, we probably wouldn't go A major scale to G major scale to D major scale to match the chords. You probably wouldn't do that. So I don't want to confuse you too much. But the reason you wouldn't do that is because really this progression is basically D. So the only scale that would have all of these notes in it would be the D major scale, because we're in the key of D. Okay. But that's a whole nother thing. You know, we're talking about how to play over chord changes. We won't. That's a whole nother. So, but yeah, Lena, it's a good feeling scale. It's on the middle four strings, so it kind of has this. It has a tightness and a compactness to it that's kind of nice. And again, visualize that C form when you do it. Okay, visualize that C form. Boom, look, it's a C chord. Visualize that because it makes it a lot easier to find the scale. It makes it easier to find the chords involved in that. And again, we're going to do this with all 5 scales. So next week we'll do the A shape, okay, and we'll move it up to C or something, and find the pentatonic, major pentatonic, and the major diatonic. I also want to show you the minors, but for now let's just deal with the majors. And then so that's like the next 5 lessons, right? Or 4 lessons today, 5 if you include today. And so that could be hopefully we will integrate some of the stuff. And then what I might do is I might do a lesson on each of the shapes again. So it's another way of hammering these home. And if we spend kind of an equal amount of time on each of them, I think that's a good thing. Oftentimes when we learn something like pentatonic 5 pentatonic shapes, okay, oftentimes when we learn those, we spend so much time on pentatonic number 1 and we spend hardly any time on pentatonic number 3 because 3 is lame, and you know, so you never get good at 3, but you get really good at 1, and that's not necessarily horrific. But the pentatonic shape, by the way, we're using here is pentatonic number 4. So in the grand scheme of the lessons I taught on last year at some point, we talked about the 5 pentatonic shapes. Pentatonics are scales, 5-note scales, penta, like pentagon, pentagram, all that stuff. So pentatonic is 5 tonics. But really just, I'm not sure why it says tonic. Just 5 notes. So diatonic is 7 notes. Diatonic scales are 7-note scales. Yeah. Sam, let's see. Yeah, exactly. Sam basically just said what I just said. So yeah, so practicing the scales, again, at the same time. And Lena, if you can, at some point, you might be able to, up here, if you're practicing the scale and you play the G1, you might get to the point where the frets are small enough that your hands might be able to grab that little G chord scale. But even not, grab this. See, I'm not barring my first finger. I'm just getting 3rd finger, 1st finger, 2nd finger. It's a great little triad. 3rd and the bottom, so it's 1st inversion. Or we have the triad here. And there's the root, 3rd, and 5th, so that's root position triad, right? That's not a bad shape to know on your fretboard. Even if you can't play all of it, you can play a snippet of it. You can play these 3 strings, you can play these 3, you can play these 3. You could even play these 3 if you wanted to. So if I played like the D, if I play like an E shape, but move it down a string like this, and I move it up to the 4th or 5th fret, that's a D triad. Isn't that cool? It's A, D, and F sharp. And if I want to, I play the open G string. That's D chord with a G in it. C chord. My mind automatically goes to writing. I'm coming up with ideas, you know. May hear that on the radio next month. I don't know. So if you haven't heard my I don't know how much did I promote it on. I don't even know, but my song came out on on all the streamers. The song I released. I'm gonna release some more. I was playing that one last week. That I was gonna record last week, but I never got around to it. I got so busy. Dang it. Well, okay, so I'm going to look up. So the song is called Question Mark. So if you go to, you can listen to it on YouTube. I think I make money from that too. So here it is. So I'll give you a link for that. Nobody's really watched it. It's only got 5 views, so it's not really been. But at least there's an ad. Copy. Any comments? Comments are turned off. Interesting. Okay. Whatever. So there's that. So you can check it out there. You can watch on YouTube if you want. The horrible ad. Gross. Somebody's got. Feel bad. Okay. Skip ad. So yeah. So it's not a video per se. It's just the image. So you guys can check that out and get the spins up on there. Also, that I did the video I did this week that I dropped was on the song "Treading Water" and how I played that, and that was a hook that I wrote like for 2017. So it's amazing how something you can write that long ago, 4 years ago, and it got written over the hook, and then an artist was going to release it, and they called me and told me the percentages and all that stuff, and I wasn't too happy about the percentages, but I'm not going to talk about that. But they then that artist didn't release it, so I was like, it never came out, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess that song's DOA, and then I got another contact saying this other artist, actually a bigger artist, was releasing it, so they released it. And it's doing pretty well. I mean, it's already got first week it has over 170,000 spins on YouTube. I think it's been getting in playlists. It's the one. It's again one of my way. I found a way to play a voicing that I liked, and then I turned it into a song. So okay, so again, we're with these diatonic things. I mean, with these the CAGED shapes. We just did the C shape today. Next week I'll do the A shape, and I'm going to show you 2 scales for that, maybe 3, because although if I do that, then I got to come forward and do this because we didn't do the minor pentatonic over this. And the thing is, the minor pentatonic shapes, there's only 5 pentatonic shapes. And the minor and the major. See, this is also B minor. Oh, that was something I was going to show you. I knew there was something else I had to teach. This is the B minor shape, right? I'm just going to make this really small. Okay? So, the minor sub for D major is B minor. Okay? If this is the 1, this is the 6th chord. The 6th chord is a common substitution for the 1. So if I'm playing a song, again, this goes to my writing. I can substitute. I can substitute B minor for D, and I can substitute D for B minor too. Any melody that works over D is going to work over B minor. Any scale that works over D is going to work over B minor. So both of these scales would work over B minor. And if you look at these scales, you can see the B minor shape in there. I was going to do a major pentatonic, a major diatonic, and superimpose in red. But that would have confused things. I don't want to confuse things. But basically, you can see this shape in this scale. So that scale works fine, and the major pentatonic, same thing. But that is, if you start from there and play that major pentatonic, now you're playing a minor pentatonic. But it's the exact same notes as the major pentatonic, the D major pentatonic, not the B major pentatonic. Okay. All right. So I need to get rid of this. Okay. All right. So let's see. Yeah, there are many different ways to play the same scale. In fact, when we do the A form, that'll be the next week's scale. We can play a D scale. In fact, I could feasibly, the only one that wouldn't. But I may just do C next week. We'll do the A form, but we'll move it up to C. But basically, I could play the exact same scale this way. I'm probably more likely to gravitate towards the A form, the major scale built on the A form rather than the C form. But just doing this lesson makes me remember it. I really like the feel of this scale. So in some ways, this scale makes more sense because it fits over that chord so nicely because you can really see the outline of that chord. This one, you can kind of see the outline, but I don't know. This one also depends more on the pinky. This one doesn't. So, all right. Yeah, Holly, exactly. My brain loves patterns too. And again, that's one of the ways of teaching it where you can kind of, there are some people that can learn it without even looking at that. They're just like, oh, okay, oh, I hear this, okay, I hear this. Like they just use their ear and they come up with the same thing. And like I said, I taught the CAGED method without calling it the CAGED method probably for 20 years. It wasn't until I was teaching it, and it may have been a clinic, which would have been embarrassing. Maybe at a clinic, somebody said, that's the CAGED method. And I went, what? CAGED. I remember because it may have been a clinic. Oh my gosh. But me, it's like I turned it into a self-deprecating moment. So it's really easy to be self-deprecating when you do so much stupid stuff. But it was pretty funny because I was like, oh, you're kidding. That's exactly what it is. And I'd heard the term CAGED method before, but I just never investigated what the heck it meant. So both of those shapes, the major pentatonic would work over the B. But if you start on B and play that B major pentatonic, you've got a B minor pentatonic. If you play the major diatonic scale, the one right here, okay, that works over the B minor. All right. But if you start on the B note, which would be the second fret on the fifth string, okay, so right there, I can't get in front of this diagram. I'm trying, but it won't let me get in front. It's like, yeah. But I should have one hanging behind me that looks exactly like that, and then all of a sudden I just put my hand, and you all freak out, like, wait a minute, how did he do that? But the second fret on the fifth string is a B. So if you start on that note and play that same scale, that's a B minor scale. Same as D major scale. The same notes. They just start on different place in the scale. One starts on the root and one starts on the sixth of the scale. So again, that's information we've talked about 1,000 times before. But again, that may be the first time someone actually, so if I take a D major scale and start on the sixth note of the scale, that's a B minor scale. It's the same notes. Yeah, that might be the first time you've ever, I love it when the pieces start coming together, though. Oh, thanks, Bruce. Boy, so what was it? Oh, I talked. Oh, thank you, Bruce. Bruce put up the lessons where I talked about the pentatonic scales, and clearly I talked about them for more than 5 weeks or 5 lessons. So, and was I teaching? Looks like 729 to 821. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what those numbers mean, but less than 93 through 107. But it was last year. I clearly spent more than 5 lessons teaching on the 5 pentatonic scales. But again, we can go major and minor, so that's 10 lessons there. So, and there are other types of pentatonic scales, okay? But when we're talking about major and minor pentatonics, they're the same. They're relative, so they have the same shapes. But I could do a minor pentatonic with a 6th, or I can do a major pentatonic with a, let's see, 1, 3, 4, with a 4. So I use pentatonic scales a lot of times. The reason that I use pentatonic scales often is for speed, because they're on the guitar. They tend to be 2 notes per string, so it's kind of easy to play patterns that are 2 notes per string. So I'm getting on a tangent here, but the A minor pentatonic, which is almost what everybody learns first. Much of Stairway to Heaven's solo is A minor pentatonic. Both Let It Be solos spend a decent amount of time from the Beatles. Spend a lot of time. I'm sliding instead of bending because of acoustic, but but if I were to take that the 7th, okay, so we have 1, 3, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. If I take that 7 down to 6, I end up with the B.B. King scale, and it's also a pentatonic scale because it's only 5 notes. Or I could raise the 3rd and play. I love that scale. That's a great scale over an A7 chord. But that's also 5 notes and 2 notes per string, which happy fingers. So that's what's going on there. Okay, so tupers. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Sam. 2 per string. Yeah, so I today I'm going to film that video. I may post it tomorrow. Also, picking up Alex, I mentioned your idea about having him bring me guitars and me tell stories about them. So we may do that. We won't do that on our regular lessons. So that'll be a special live stream. But I'll just do it a live stream, and then let's see. I'm just checking if the other. Yeah, it's a good workout. That scale is a good workout. Both those scales are good workouts for your pinky. Take it slow. But also try to find melodies. Either try to find known melodies, like even that meow, 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 or make up melodies. And the whole time you're playing the scales, the pentatonic and the diatonic, visualize that C form, okay? Visualize that on the fretboard so you can kind of see it. That way, if you can find that shape anywhere on the neck, you can find those scales anywhere. That's what 100% the reason why I'm teaching this lesson is so that you can use the CAGED method to find scales, okay? I told you I was going to do that from the get-go. When we did the first lesson, I said, look, the CAGED method is great for helping you learn soloing and finding scales and positions and different up and down the neck, and also for finding triad shapes or chord shapes or things to use for rhythm playing. So it's equally valuable for rhythm players and lead players. You don't have to be a soloist. We can only talk about rhythm. We haven't really talked too much about that. And that's a whole nother, in my opinion, I think it's almost a deeper dive to talk about rhythm playing than lead playing. Um, I think the options of rhythm ideas are almost, well, they're uncountable. Same with melodic ideas, but you know, I can go, well, here's a scale you can use, and here's another scale you can use, and then leave it be. But as far as doing that for creating rhythmic ideas, you know, ideas to complement another guitar player. I mean, you know, who was great at it was Eddie Van Halen. He was phenomenal at creating really minimalistic rhythm parts, and yet he was in a trio. But he never did power chords. He never gun, 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 gun. Very rarely did he ever do anything like that. And he was always messing around with triads. Dance the Night Away as a good example. And so he would find these shapes up and down the neck, and he would work them, and he'd slide them around and all that. So it's really, and that's just one guitarist. I could go through every guitar player that even like I told you, John Lennon would use this shape as a rhythm, as a common strumming chord. I didn't normally think of that. You know, I would do an A form bar chord or an E form bar chord, but I rarely ever used a C form bar chord. And all of a sudden I watched two different videos on two different songs, the Beatles playing live, and John Lennon's over there banging out this. One, it was an E, and I think one time he was at the second fret playing a D. And I went, I got to do a video on that, because it's just not a very common chord for guitar players to grab, but it really is a great, I mean, C sounds great. When you're banging out a C chord, or you put a capo on and you're playing the C shape up and down the neck, it always sounds good. I got 2/3 in there. I can have a sus. That sus can rub against the, you know. You can have that. It's just such a great sounding chord. And then to be able to bring that chord to, be able to bring that sound of a C chord up the neck is great. So definitely worth working on if you can get that down. But the rhythmic applications of the CAGED method is really unlimited, and when you start to see these shapes up and down the fretboard, it really starts to open things up. If you watch that Rick Biatto interview with Pat Metheny, he talks about triads. He doesn't pick up a guitar until an hour and a half till the last like 15 minutes or so. But he's really good. You know, like I said, he's the guy that brought triads into jazz, and jazz players have a real hard time playing triads. I mean, playing over major chords. It's like, wait, what do you? And Pat always had this kind of, because he was from Lee's Summit, Missouri. Triads didn't really scare him because it was. So the song James, which is one of my favorite Pat Metheny songs, he I can't remember I have it right here. But he actually, the funny thing was, he's like, Beth was asking me, was it named for his dad or his son? Or I said, I don't know. And I looked it up. He named it for James Taylor because he was trying to write a song. What was it? He was. It almost kind of has a similar harmony to. Shower the people you love with love. You know, it's just very simple, and that's what Pat Metheny did. He kind of brought this Middle America simple, music with emotion and feeling, and brought it into the jazz idiom. And it was in the interview, he talks about Gary Burton, who was someone he idolized and got to play with when he was still like a teenager. It was like, he goes, yeah, I got asked to join the band. It was like being asked to replace George Harrison in the Beatles. He goes, it was that big a deal for me. And so he would bring songs to Gary Burton, and Gary's like, yeah, that's nice. Boom. And he brought Bright Size Life, which I can't really play. I don't know it, but it's the first song on the first record that he ever did. And Gary said, that's it. That's your sound right there. And it was one of those songs where there was like, you know, it's like there were triads with bass notes and things like that, but it was basically triads. And Pat's really good at playing over those. He can blow through changes. Like, he can do the bebop stuff too, but he can really play through something that is just simple, but he can make it sound jazz and complex. So anyway, yeah. So the swing thing, Catherine. One thing you can do to help you play swing. Someone taught me this trick, and where's my phone's here? Let me get the click out. Where is my click? Metronome. Okay, so get a metronome out, and I got to turn it way down tempo-wise, okay? So I'm like at 60. So what you want to do is 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You want to you want to hear that click as 2 and 4, not 1 and 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to hear it 2. So you got to click. You got to count on the click. Go 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Straight. Okay, that's straight. 3, 4. For some reason, you'll get better at the swing thing if you play with a click that's on 2 and 4 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why, but somebody gave me that advice, and it does help. You could go slower than 60. It's going to be hard to hear it's going to be a lot of space in between. There's 40. 3, 4, 5. Oh, 5. We're in 5. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't need to have a click to do it, but you can even use just. And so swing is almost a triplet feel. Like if we were to do that would be one triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. I'm playing 3 notes per beat. So if you were to just play this note, okay? We got 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hear that? Okay. Now we want to get rid of the middle note, so it's going to be 1. And that's about the most extreme. You can even do 3 notes and then get rid of the middle note, and then 3 notes and get rid of the middle note, and do that so you can kind of keep the triplet thing going. And that missing middle triplet note creates about the most extreme swing you could do. So a swing would be anything that's slightly wider than straight 8th notes, because technically even it's it's hard to model this. I can do it on the computer, and you can hear it doesn't really even sound that late. It's like 50% would be here, 75% would be a 16th note. So 67% would be a triplet. I don't want to confuse you here, but talk about quantizing in the computer. And so, if you do something like in the 60 range or 63 range, that's pretty standard for jazz. 67, true. If I did 75, I was doing a dotted eighth to a 16th. That would be like this. There's 16th notes. And that's not swung. That's way beyond swinging, okay? Triplet would be... that's like a shuffle. That's like that's about as far to the swung area you're going to want to go. And that technically a shuffle would be a 12/8 thing. 1, 2, 3. You would count in 12 eighth notes over a bar 4. So four groups of 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And that that's like really swung. But yeah, and Catherine, it's actually a really good idea to practice scales that way. It's also a good idea to practice scales with the 16th note. We're talking about 75%. The 16th note. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, right? Okay, and the reason a dotted quarter to a 16th to a dotted quarter to a 16th is a great way to play a scale. I'm sorry, let's get back. I'll get that. There we go. This is the scale I'm using right there, the major diatonic I'm playing, root to root. Okay? Is because it kind of tricks your left hand and your right hand into playing faster than it thinks it can. Okay? One of the tricks in getting the right hand going in classical guitar was to play Segovia scales in multiple different ways, right? 8 notes, 1, 2, with a click, and then triplets, and then 16ths, but also dotted quarter to 16th. That was the best rhythmic pattern to use to try to increase the speed of both hands. And you could play only so fast with 16th notes at say my max tempo was 160 16th notes, and but with the quarter note dotted eighth to a 16th, I'm still playing 16th notes, but I could get up to 170 or something. So I could play faster if I put more space. And then that speed transfers now down to the straight 6. And that's a Segovia scale, by the way. So that's where it gets hard, where you're shifting positions. All right. Woo. All right, so let's see, any other questions? How are we doing here? How many people we got? Oh, 40. Oh, not bad. 43 likes. Thank you for liking. Subscribe if you haven't. Share. That's the big thing. If one of my videos really helped you in some way, and even the live ones, if it really opened your eyes, feel free to share it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. I appreciate that. I'm on Twitter. I think I'm just T. Strahle. But you can share it on your Facebook and link to the video. And that's really how, that's how things blow up. I'm going to do a video today. I've got the box isn't in here, but I'm going to do an unboxing. So I will go ahead and do an unboxing. But I'll keep that to a minimum. I'll just kind of like first impressions. And then I will stop the recording, obviously, and tune it up, get it all raring and going, and play around with it a little bit, and then do a review of it, so that it's a legitimate review for anyone who's thinking about getting one of these things. Now, it's not a weird. Well, it is a weird instrument, but it's not a weird world instrument because I got it from Sweetwater. They don't really sell weird world instruments. If you're looking for weird world instruments for reasonable prices, and they're not going to be professional models, but check out Etsy. Etsy is a great place to get, and I've got another place that I go to get stuff. I hesitate to tell you. I should do a video on it, but then people get mad that I expose this. You probably, some of you already know about it. In fact, Bruce might be a good place to get tools. I don't know. I'll tell you, because you're all my friends. I don't care. But shopgoodwill.com. They use the eBay engine, but I don't think their products show up on eBay. So you have to literally enter shopgoodwill.com into your browser, and you've got instruments up there. I've been buying a few things there. I think I got 2 lyres, a steel one and for like $9. I mean, even the shipping was like $3 or something. I don't know how they did it. I got I haven't tuned this one yet, but I got a steel string lyre, and then this was a nylon. But you could see where I could totally use it, and this is what like David played. Where's my other lyre? Oh, it's in the other room. I've got the tuning key for it, so it's just the same tuning key you would use for a auto harp. But it's cool because you can tune it as just a diatonic scale, like D major, for example, and then you've got a D major triad here. It's real easy to play triads. It's the same fingering all up and down. Here, there needs to be a groove right there. But basically, yeah. So it's really easy to play, and when you play those triads, you can actually have 1, 4, 5. It actually sounds like what you imagine David did for Saul when he played. But yeah. So I think I got 2 of these things for $9. Not bad. For some reason, there's a million of them up there, so I'm not worried about people outbidding. You do have to bid. It is a bid thing. Just like I said, it's eBay related because there's, I think, the eBay logo on there. But what did you miss? Well, I just shared a good place to find weird things. You can find all sorts of things there, but shopebay.com. Shopgoodwill.com. And you can sort by most expensive. There will be, if I go there right now, if I go now, if I sort categories, musical instruments, guitars and basses, I'll do electric guitars. There's an acoustic guitar for $26 right there. 3 bids, 43 minutes. But if I sort by guitars, electric, apply, and then put the highest first, and see if there's anything up here that's, well, not really. Sometimes there's a BC Rich. What's the 70? Oh, here. Okay, so here's a 75th anniversary Fender Telecaster Deluxe for $851. 1 day left on it. Here's a Tesco. How do you say that? Spectrum 3 Electric Vintage 60s for $700 right now. So it can. They will basically, some of the vintage stuff will get up there into the actual range. of what they're worth. Yeah, this one's pretty beat up, but obviously somebody could fix it up. It's got cracks and it's rusty and stuff. Looks like the electronics have been, oh, the knobs are missing. Pickups look original though. For a Tiesco, I don't know how you say. Hey Johnny, you know the bar chords are neglected by beginners. Do I think bar chords are neglected by beginners? Well, yeah, because they're hard. Beginners generally don't have the hand strength to do them, so they tend to shy away from them. Also, I'm a big proponent of capoing, so you can capo out. Sorry, I'm playing. We're watching an episode of CSI. So what is this 75th Fender Telecaster? Okay, 75th anniversary Telecaster. See, the thing is, you could probably find it. You could get. Oh yeah. Oh, weird. It's got the big headstock. Okay, but it's a reissue. Yeah, so this is MX made in Mexico. Okay, yeah, I think that's already at the price. It shouldn't go any higher than that. So yeah, the bar chord thing, Johnny. And I can get rid of this here. It's a mess. I will. If a song is in B flat, I mean, I could play bar chords. But the problem with playing bar chords, A, it's hard. So my hands are going to get tired, even me. So there's the 1 chord, here's the 5 chord, here's the 6 chord, here's the 4 chord. Right? If I'm finger picking, I'm also going to, I drop my pick, so everybody take a sip. It's one of our drinking game rules. If I drop a pick, we all get a sip. But if I'm finger now I can make that sound pretty good, but if I really wanted to have fun with it, I would do, I might very likely capo. Is this the right? This is the wrong capo. About 18 capos up here right now. But I can create melodies. I can do hammer-ons that I couldn't do if I was playing the bar chords. It's just there's only so much I could do without. And at the end of the 4-minute song, I'm going to want to take a 5-minute break. So bar chords are definitely something that tend to be neglected mainly because they're difficult, especially more difficult on acoustic. However, there are times where I want, when just to hammer home that point one more. There are, James Taylor, you couldn't play certain things. You couldn't play that without a capo. You couldn't do that with bar chords. You couldn't do this. You couldn't get that sound at all. You couldn't even come close with it, I mean, I could go pretty close. But it's just not fun. It's fun to play a little D chord and a little A chord and a little G chord, So yeah, but there are times where definitely bar chords on acoustics sound great. It's what you want. It's like. Because you can get that really muty, kind of scratchy sound really easy with a bar chord. So a lot of pop records, you'll hear that kind of sound, where it's just a bar, they're just moving bar chords around. And I'll play on a lot of records like that, where that's what I want to do. It's what sounds best for this. On electric, bar chords are really not a problem. I use them all the time. But, and I will capo on electric sometimes. If I really want some open strings to ring out and I want that open string kind of almost country sound, and they decide to do the song in A flat, yeah, it's just I'm going to put a capo on the first fret and play in G. So I hope that answers your question. Thanks, Johnny. Hey, Gary, what's going on? Yeah, capos are a very important tool. I have a lot of videos where I talk about capoing. I talk about reasons to capo. I have 5 or 6 reasons to capo. I have videos on what chords you're playing if you capo at the 3rd fret, like how do you play E flat, blah, 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 blah. You know, those are kind of handy videos to kind of, you know, and the thing is, just talking about capos, because everybody here knows I love talking about capoing. What I suggest you do is don't try to learn everything, but this will help you with learning the fretboard. But when you're capoing, let's say you're in the key of B flat and you really don't want to play bar chords, so you throw the capo on a 3rd fret. Don't go through the song and transpose everything. Don't take all the B flats and transpose them to G because you're playing a G shape. No. Chances are, unless it's a jazz song, and if it's a jazz song, you're probably not going to have an acoustic out or be playing with a capo. If it's a fairly normal song, typical song, it's got 4 chords, maybe 5 chords. So just learn those 4 chords. So instead of going, oh, okay, this is G. No, that's not G, that's B flat. Oh, and then here's the 4 chord. That's C. No, it's E flat. And then here, oh, E minor. No, it's G minor. And then that's a D. No, it's F. Because you capo. So here's why. I've told this story before, but I was playing with this piano player, worship leader, in at a Chuck Swindoll's church. I don't know if you know some of you might know who Chuck Swindoll is, but he had a church in Fullerton, California, and my friend Fernando got asked to lead the worship for Saturday, and he asked me to play guitar and mandolin for it. And so I said, sure. So, and he had a cellist and another singer. It was a really kind of a cool, organic, acoustic vibe. And he tended to like flat keys, like B flat, F, E flat, A flat, you know. So I kind of I always have my capo handy. I would take the chart that he sent, he would give me the charts and I'd write all over them. I'd go, okay, B flat. Okay, so if it's a B flat, okay, I'm going to capo 3, write that on top, and then, okay, turn all the G's into B flats, turn all the C's into E flats, all the E flats into C's, turn all the B flats into G's. So cross out the letters and put G instead of B flat and do that. That's what I would do if there was 5 chords in the song. I just go, okay, find all the B flats and write G on them. Okay, I wouldn't go through the chart in order. I would just kill get rid of all the B flats, get rid of all the E flats, get rid of all the Fs, get rid of all the G minors, and just write the new name for them with the capo at the 3rd fret. And I'm at that point in my career, I was what I would consider a semi-pro or a pro. I was trying to make a living at it. So one time though, one weekend, we would start rehearsing around 4:30 or so, and the service was at 6. So we'd rehearse maybe 4:30 to 5. And, well, 5 o'clock rolled around. He wasn't there yet. And then it was 5:30, and he still wasn't there. And they were asking me to lead worship, and I was like, I don't even have songs picked out. I was like, and this is before cell phones, so we didn't know where he was. Well, he'd had car trouble or something, and he got there about 15 minutes before, right? And so I didn't have time to go through the charts and scratch everything out that he sent. So I had B flat there and F, and I have a song in B flat, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to play bar chords. I don't have time to transpose, right? So I'm like, and I've got my Gibson dub out, so it's got a big neck on it. And I'm like, E flat's up here. F. And I'm just not having any fun. By the end of the first song, my hand is just throbbing. And I even had heavy strings on that acoustic because it sounded so good with heavy strings. So I was like dying. I was just dying, and I went, oh, gosh. I said, I don't know. I'm just going to throw the capo on. The next song was like in E flat or something. So I threw the capo on, and I went, oh, wait a minute. I actually threw the capo on straight instead of crooked. I said, wait a minute. I know that's E flat. I know my fretboard. I was a pro. I knew my fretboard. And I went, oh, wait, that is E flat. Oh, Oh, that's A flat. I know that. So I read the charts down without transposing them. And I realized, oh, dang it, I know these chords. I don't need to what am I doing? Part of it was because I was, you try not to think out of right brain, left brain at the same time. You try to be all creative or all analytical, but it's hard to do both at the same time. And so that's why writing the G and the E, D, and the simple shapes there and capoing kind of makes sense. But I can read any chart. If you give me a chart and I can capo anywhere and play it, I'm basically can immediately play it because I know my fretboard. And I knew it then, and that's when I kind of realized I knew more than I thought I knew. Hey, John, good to see you. So I knew my fretboard better than I thought I did. Now, here's another reason. If you think you're playing a D chord here, let's say the song's in E flat, and you're going D, here's the 1 chord, here's the 6 chord, 6 minor 6, here's the 4, 5, right? And so you think you're playing D, B minor, G, A, and you want to go do a lick, right? You're thinking, sitting on this, and the leader says, hey Tom, play a lick. Okay. Oh no, I'm not playing D, I'm playing E flat. I just did a D lick. It's like, no, I'm not in D, I'm in E flat. So now if I realize where I'm at, I'm reading, I'm seeing myself in E flat, not D, then when I said, oh, so that's why, when you capo, don't worry about learning every position. Just learn the one you're using that week or that day. Okay, so if it's the first position, it's a good one to learn because you can just play all your normal chords that you would play. E, what chord is that really? Well, if you just think about this, well, it's F. Of course it's F. You know that. Well, if that's F, then this is F minor. If that's F minor, then this is F minor. If this is F minor 7. If this is F, this is F7. The nice thing is it's only the prefix that changes. The suffix, the 7th, if you're playing a 7th chord or 7th with a flat 9, that's still, that part of it stays the same. So if this was E7 flat 9 here, then it's F7 flat 9. So you're only changing the first letter. Okay? So this was A minor, but but if I played that would be B minor. Well, duh, that's a B minor chord. Okay, what is that? That's a C. No, it's D flat. So just memorizing, and again, you may only need to memorize 4 or 5 chords. You might only need to memorize 3 chords. But here's the 1 chord, here's the 5 chord, here's the 4 chord. So E flat, D flat, A flat, D flat. Memorize those 3, you're done. Now you know and maybe F minor, maybe D flat might be a chord. You might go to D flat or something, but memorize those few chords and you've got that position down. And it will help you when the capo's off. Because somebody says play E flat, you can go, okay, no, it's right here. D flat, oh yeah, it's D flat right there. Play F minor, oh, there's F minor. Okay, so learning positions at a time, not one position, like don't go first fret and then second fret, third fret. No, as you need them. So if you're, this song, you're playing a song at church or at a gig or with friends or whatever, at a campfire, and it's in, everybody seems to want to sing it in A flat, then you just learn the chords in A flat and you just capo here and you learn these chords. The next time somebody says B, so where can I capo to play B? Look at this. If I capo at the 4th fret and use G shapes, that's B, that's E, that's F sharp. So, okay, John, any good exercise to work or worksheets for practicing bar chords? I did a couple videos, right? You saw those videos I did. Some of you, that may have been the introduction to me, was the video. Let's see, that darn F chord. Let's see. Okay, so I did this one 3 years ago. This one, hold on. So this has some, I talk about how to work, to move your hand. Sometimes it's an elbow thing as far as getting bar chords down. I talk about taking the bar and just playing every string, I think, and I go up a fret. Sometimes it's easier to start high and then work your way down. And then I did B chord. I did the B chord. That son of a B chord. I even did the on the screen grab. I did fancy letters for son of a, just to be ironic. Okay, so there's that one. And so those are the two. If you have not seen those, John, maybe watch those videos. Let's see. And then I'm going to go, let's see, acoustic guitars. Okay. I'm going to go to Shop Goodwill and see what the highest price. There was a vintage Gibson there, but it got up to about $2,000. So vintage Ibanez. Ooh, oh no, that's okay. Trying to find a hard, not a hardtail, okay, so let's, highest first. Okay, what do we got? Oh, here's another vintage Gibson LG0 natural acoustic. Right now, 6 days left though, so it's just started. $501. Here's a Martin, kind of a cheap Martin beginner guitar for $351. Ovation, not a fan of Ovations. Here's an Alvarez copy of my Dove. It could be actually a pretty decent guitar, but it's already up to $300. So that's shopgoodwill.com as well. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they use the eBay engine. Yeah, I mean, this thing looks just like my Dove. It's amazing. Very, very similar. Huh. I'm sure it doesn't sound the same. Here's a Regal guitar. What is this? It looks like a Dobro. Regal made Dobros. There are no buy it now options on shopgoodwill.com, but you can. Yeah, Johnny, that's exactly right. That's what I've been talking about from day one on this, is that learning the CAGED method, the shapes as they connect up and down, it just opens up the fretboard. That's why it's so common. It's taught so often, but it's good for rhythm and lead playing. It does both. So, let's see. But John, one of the things you could do to work on your bar chords is, like I said, take your first finger, which is what you're going to be using. It's your God-given capo, and try to you could start. You can lay all 4 fingers on one fret and try to get all 6 notes to ring out. And then start taking off fingers and see if you can do that with just one finger. And my thumb should be back there. It's going to be almost impossible to do that if you put your thumb here, because if you bend this finger, this much of your finger is not long enough to cover 6 strings. So you're going to need to have the thumb down here, kind of have your elbow. And this, you can mess with where your elbow is. That will, look how much of effect it has on the position of my index finger. Moving that elbow, look at that. So if my elbow's way out here, well, I can't. And if it's way here, I can't do if you tuck it in too far. So you kind of got to find that magic spot. And then if you can get the notes to ring out here, you might. And then the good thing to know is that when you play a bar chord like this, only 50% of the chord depends on that bar. So now you can kind of let up a little bit. As long as this rings out and these 2 ring out, you're golden, because you got these 3 fingers here. However, if you take off your pinky to make this a G7 chord, now you've got 4 notes depending on that bar. The bottom string, the 4th string, and the top 2 strings. If you go to G minor 7, I might put my finger like this, but G minor 7 has 5 of the 6 notes depending on the bar. Ah, Pepper's in the house. That's my Happy Pepper song. Pepper's in the house. All right. So, okay, sorry. I'm getting tired. I got to shoot that other video, so I should probably go do that. I got some other stuff I got to do today. I'm going to be working on that the Giuliani Arpeggios. So I'm going to try to create some studies to see if I can work in the pinky into my classical playing so that I can do lines like that bottom thing there where it's 5 notes. The chord is playable, totally playable C-sharp minor chord. But that phrase, so what I did for that in the movie, that's for a movie, what I did for it, I'll tell you what movie it is later. I kind of went like this. I mean, he wanted, but I can't really do it with good rhythm. It's too hesitant. You know, I tried it and I just was like, I couldn't wrap it around itself. And he wanted it to be kind of random and not, it says ad lib, so it's kind of whatever works. And actually, to be honest, if I were to play that as written, it would be not particularly guitaristic because very, very, very few classical guitarists even use their pinky on their right hand unless they're doing some kind of flamenco rasgueado, which is the, you know, kind of thing. So, sorry, Pepper, to take off just as you get here. Let's see. I think people are signing out. Yeah, we're getting, well, I'm still at 36. That's crazy. Oh, no. It drops up and then realigns and stuff. So, yeah, again, like I said, if you see something, one of my videos that really, like, helped you a lot, share it. You know, say, hey, I've been playing guitar for a while, but this video really opened my mind to certain things, whatever. I appreciate that because you can, hey, Scott Jacobs, you can really help me grow my channel. I'm at, subscriber-wise, where are we? Bruce, we're almost 87,000, right? 97,000, sorry. 96,000. 95,901. So 642 new subscribers in the last 28 days. So at that rate, I'm not going to get to 100,000 before the end of the year. Unless a miracle happens and one of my videos just, it's having a video take off. Like, you know, I look at my top 10 videos, most of them are 3 years old or older. I haven't been able to catch that lightning in a bottle in the last 3 years. So it's difficult. So I although the videos that I do tend to do well are the open tuning ones, so I should probably do another open tuning one. I'll just have to find something to do it on. I did one on, my most recent one I think was on the CAGED method. I mean, I'm sorry, on the DADGAD. I've been doing 3 different scale series. I did 4 of those so far. 5 songs with 2 chords. That one's only got 1,000 views, but I have 2 others. It's my second or third most popular video. Some fun chords and open C tuning. And that one's got 4,000 views, which is not very many. Really not enough to generate any real income to make it worth my while. But it definitely... See, my intro to ukulele didn't hardly get anything. It's weird. Digging deeper into A minor chord. Oh, the Greek bouzouki. Cool too. Okay, so that one's got some good views. I bet I have dislikes on that one. A couple. Octave exercise has done pretty well. 5 tips for bass playing guitarists. That's funny. That one didn't do it. Let's see. Unboxing the Jim Dandy. So the unboxing the Gretsch Jim Dandy did about 5,400 views. That one I get comments all the time on. So yeah, harmonizing with capos. That one should be a huge video. How to harmonize with another guitar player with using capos. Only has 2,000 views. Neil Young's favorite strumming groove, 3,900 views. John Lennon's favorite strumming groove is 93. But then I did one for, what was it? Jack Johnson's favorite groove. And that one, has it hit 1,000 yet? It has not hit 1,000 yet. So that one, obviously not as popular as John Lennon and Neil Young. I'm trying to find people, like I tried to find Bob Dylan's favorite groove. I really wasn't able to find any one groove that he does. And I'm talking about right hand playing. So, you know, I mean, okay, this one is a good one. And a lot of people have liked it. This is, wow, 418 likes on my tips for playing slide in standard tuning. That actually is a really I love playing slide in standard tuning. I mean, I love having open tunings and everything. But this thing's got almost 13,000 views. So that one's actually doing pretty well. I would love to see that one grow some more. I try open C tuning for the first time. Again, anytime I do anything with open tunings, it goes pretty well. I should do something, you know, I did I thought I did Dadgad, digging deeper into Dadgad or something. Oh, here it is, Introduction to Dadgad Tuning, 1,400. So I think if the word open D tuning or open G tuning, maybe I should do a thing, slide in open D tuning. I don't know. So, is my YouTube on your TikTok too? I will promote. I don't put the YouTube videos up on TikTok. I could. The problem is my YouTube videos are formatted this way. TikTok's formatted this way. So it ends up being, you know, a little teeny tiny window. And so what I will do is I should do it. That's something I should do today. I haven't done one in a while, a long time. I'll do a TikTok video promoting my how I played the Said the Sky song Treading Water, because that song's starting to get some traction, starting to get some Spotify playlist love and things like that. So, I haven't done open E tuning. You know, it's so funny because open E is the same as open D, but yeah, you're right. I don't think I've. Let me see. Search my channel. Open E tuning. Some fun chords in open E. I did. So I did do that one. How many views does that have? Oh yeah, the thing about this video is my strings look weird. I had some serious. This one has 40,000 views, and this was right when we bought the house, so I don't have my panels up, so it's real bad audio. I get dislikes because of the audio. Anyway, yeah, that's not a bad. So I might do, you know, some like open tuning slide stuff, you know. This guitar has too low a action to do tunings on. I mean, to do, and I say it every time, snark tuners kill batteries. Is this exciting? so yeah. Oh, let me give you the link for that. Okay, Johnny, I'll give you the. I have the. Oh wait, I already closed that window. I'll do it again. I'll find it. So it's just some fun chords and open E tuning, but it's called. What's it called when when the camera creates? It's called herringbone. I think it's a herringbone effect or whatever. When the strings look really funny, anything that's parallel and not perfectly in line with the camera is going to look funny. Open E. Yeah, so here it is. Here, copy. So here's the open. You can just click on this and it'll open a new window. Actually, it may take you away from this window, so you may not want to do that. But that's the open E tuning. Some fun chords in open E. I haven't done open A. I could do that. What I would probably try to do there is try to come up with some new chords that that I didn't do when I did open G, which would be basically the same exact fingerings. So Pepper asked, oh, yes, my YouTube link is on TikTok. Yeah. I think I've gotten a few. I mean, I have like, my TikTok is, let's see. Because I haven't done a video in a while. My TikTok, I have 3,700 followers, so it's not even close to my number of subscribers on YouTube. But it's a great way to cross promote, so I'll probably do that. Oh, MW, you're thank you. I don't know if it's a beautiful list. I'm all over the map today. Oh my God, I should have just called this like Ask Me Anything, and then maybe I'll talk about CAGED method lesson. Your knees hurt. Open tuning CAGED. No, I'm not going to do that. That would be a whole nother. Yeah, that would be having to reinvent and rethink the guitar from the get-go, and that would be pretty tough. So this battery's dead. So, you know, they flavor these batteries to taste really bitter so kids won't put them in their mouth. And I always taste them. I'm like, how bitter is it? I'm like, well, that's not bitter enough. I guess because I drink coffee. So, yes, it's been a squirrel of a lesson, Pepper. 100%. Yeah, Dennis says, hey, Gary Schultz is here. Pepper's in the house. So everybody's excited. So anyway, next week we're gonna go and we're gonna do the next shape. Okay. So this week we did the C shape and we found 2 scales in the relative minor. So technically we can think we learned 4 scales. We learned major pentatonic, minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, and minor pentatonic. Technically they're all relative. So we did that. Holly, are you going to try to create a PDF with all that on there? The thing was, I didn't include the titles of what they're called. These are added here. This is added in. See, this is we put right here. I forgot to add them at the top of the diagram, which makes it better. But I uploaded these 3 already to here. I'll upload the other one. Let's see, is it this one? Yeah. Okay, so now, Holly and everybody, that B minor shape, the one right here, that thing, okay, that is now also up at the Discord for you to download. Not that it's anything of anything. So, okay, so I'm going to take off. You guys, thank you for being with me for 2 hours and 13 minutes, 14 minutes, and I will see you next week. I may pop on. It just depends. Alex, I told you we do. You guys asked me to do a thing where Alex brings me a guitar. I don't know what guitar he's going to bring me, and then I'll tell a story about it if I can think of one. That's not a bad way. Good triggers. Guitars are good triggers for stories for me. So I've also toyed with doing some story videos where I tell stories and make them legitimately, edited videos and upload those. I did one, and I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't like the way it turned out, so I didn't upload it. So I may do another one, but I was going to do a video on my worst gig, and my worst gig was my first gig. So that was the name of the video, which I thought was clever. Yeah, so I may have to redo that. It's almost easier, like if I do that in a kind of a conversation with someone else, like with Alex or somebody, be kind of fun. I still want to do some interviews. I just keep putting those off. It's just like, in those scenarios, I kind of want to have two cameras, so I can go back and forth between the two of us and then the interviewed. I also want to interview a doctor about arthritis and playing guitar, and it's something that I probably should be aware of because I do have arthritis in my family. Although my parents never suffered with it, my grandmother did. So I may have to deal with it. As of 60, at the age of 60, I haven't had any symptoms. So yeah, I could make a story compilation, or I could have not a channel, but a playlist that's just stories. So I don't know. I'll have to look back and see. I forget what I didn't like about it, but I was like watching the video and trying to edit it together, and I think the problem was there was way too much hesitation, and there was just too many chops in it. I think that's the problem. I hate it when videos are like, there's a lot. They cut out all the ums and everything. I don't mind having an every now and then, but this thing was so many, I couldn't clean it up. I think that was the problem. So I think what I had to do is think through the story a little bit better, but not have bullet points, because that doesn't help. If I'm looking down at bullet points, that messes me up more than anything. I just need to tell the story. So that may make my, I'll probably do it again. And me, I've got lots of stories. Holly, I may have to go back and watch some of the videos and go, oh yeah, that's story. Yeah, and there's some that, like people might want to know the day, when I met Justin Bieber, they might want to hear that story. Like the first day I ever worked with him. I mean, I think he was 15. He may have been 16. He's a little guy, just like me. I was 5'6" when I graduated high school, and I'm 5'11 and a half now. So I got, the first year of college, I grew like 5.5 inches. It was like, oh my God. I was in pain the whole year. But yeah, so stories, have them there. Yeah, and I could have the guitar that in the context of the story, all of that would be part of it too. So I could do it. I could do it in here. I did it in my living room originally, but maybe it's better in here. I don't know. I like the light in the living room. I'm going to do the unboxing right now. I'm going to do that in the living room. So I will try to edit that video together today so you can see it tomorrow. And then, yeah. And then I got to figure out where I'm going to hang it. So that might be your first clue, but you may not know. You may not understand that clue. Sippity sip. If I touch my face, you all can take a sip. That's one of our drinking game rules. Oh, your niece. So, okay. Anyway, we're losing people because I'm just rambling. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all maybe later this week, but Monday, I'll be back on Monday. I had to pick up Alex from the airport yesterday. So Alex said, well, we could do it in the car, live stream in the car. I said, yeah, we could. But I wouldn't want to be looking at the questions on my phone like this and trying to drive on the 5 freeway to Pasadena. So anyway, we'll talk to you soon. God bless you all. Be safe. Take care. Pick up that guitar every day. Thank you, Mike White. Appreciate it a lot. Join the Discord. Try to use your name on YouTube as your Discord. You can have multiple handles on Discord. So in this group, you could have the same handle on your YouTube. That way everybody knows who you are and they're not constantly asking, now, who are you again? And that way you can carry conversations from here over to there, which is oftentimes what happens. Every PDF that I create, every JPEG or screen grab that I create for this live stream, I put it in a Discord. And this is 221 lessons so far since the COVID lockdown in March of last year. And we've touched on a lot of subjects together. So we have to have a gathering at some point. I'm tempted to go to Wisconsin because where Gary lives is gorgeous. I'm very jealous. We talk about leaving California and LA, but there's certain things about LA I love. One of the things I love about where I live is getting to work with the best musicians in the world. And man, there is nothing more fun than that in any profession, to get to work with the best in your profession and to be considered a peer. That to me blows my mind. I mean, it's always what I dreamed of, but to be able to work with them and to be considered a peer, that is great too. So anyway, I will talk to you later. I need to put together a list of stories. And no, I'm not asking Bruce to go back to the first video and Diane always liked the story time, right? Remember? So I always had to make sure Diane was there before I told the story. But I have lots of stories, so it would be a fun, if I can get good at telling the stories in a succinct way, or not, it doesn't even have to be succinct, you know me, but not with too many ums and too many edits and too many brain farts. That would be a fun new channel. I could put a lot of stories up there. I don't know that they would get a lot of spins, but it would be if I could do them and not have to edit too much, that would be a real easy ad. So, oh, Joseph is in the house. Good to see you. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.